I'm David Volk with Chin Music. Today's memorial post is my mom's joke from the grave. Even in death, my mom gets the last laugh. As most of you are celebrating the last fleeting moments of a day spent with your mothers, I'm observing the day by remembering my mom's practical joke from the great beyond. Comedy has many rules. There's the rule of threes. Whenever you tell a joke that involves examples, 2 aren't enough and 4 is too many. But for some reason, 3 is just right. There's also the one that says any word with a K in it is automatically funny. No one knows why. It just is. Kite is funny, bike is amusing, but Schwinn, not so much. Kevin Bacon is hilarious because it has 2 K sounds in it. The most deadly rule to violate, however, is the one about not explaining a joke, because once you start having to explain, you lose the funny. If you're not Jewish, though, it's important to know that you're supposed to go to synagogue on the anniversary of the death of a loved one to say the Kaddish, a memorial prayer which, oddly enough, never mentions death. It's usually recited toward the end of a Saturday morning service. I was fulfilling that obligation when my mother pulled a joke on me. I can't explain it any other way. You see, I always take my cell phone into synagogue with me because the only person who ever calls me on it is my wife, and she's usually with me. So it doesn't matter whether the sound is on or off because I know it won't be ringing. And that's a good thing too, because I have distinctive ringtones. The theme from Amazing Race plays when my friend Mike calls. I hear Hava Nagila on the bagpipes when my cousin the cantor calls. And if it's my wife, it blares the entire theme song from Hawaii Five-0. That's also the default ringtone. You can already see where this is going, can't you? On this particular Saturday, my wife, the military reserve officer, was away at her monthly drill. But she knew better than to call, and nobody else had the number except my stepbrother's wife, who I had called the day before to check on the health of a brother who was in hospice. Although I called her early on Friday, I never heard back. That is, until the rabbi began her weekly introduction to the Kaddish. It's always about remembering loved ones who are no longer with us. A hush falls over the congregation every week at this point. Which is why so many more people heard the theme song from Hawaii Five-0 blare out of my little cell phone. I quickly slunk to the back of the sanctuary and into the social hall to turn off the sound. In my panic to get it done quickly, I punched the buttons several times, trying to get the phone in silent mode. Then I returned to my seat, relieved to know I wouldn't be bothered again. At this point, I should mention that I even have an unusual ringtone for my voicemail notifications. It, too, is from a well-known television show from back in the day. I returned in time to hear the rabbi reading the list of congregant relatives who had died in the last week and the names of those who had died in previous years on the same week. Since my mother's last name began with A, the rabbi said her name first. Lois Ackerman. As soon as my mother's name was mentioned, my cell phone, which apparently had not been muted after all, played my voicemail notification tone. The theme from Dragnet. You know the one I'm talking about, the little ditty that goes bum 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 bum. And the version I have isn't the short one either. Oh no, it's the one that includes some narration followed by more percussion. So it sounded something like this. Rabbi, we recall the loved ones who death has taken from us, including Lois Ackerman. Cell phone. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum dum. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Followed by a drum banging and a trumpet blaring dramatically. As I ran out of the sanctuary for a second time, one of my friends looked at me accusingly and said, "And what would your mother say you should learn from this?" My answer probably wouldn't have been what he expected. That somewhere in the great beyond, my mother is laughing her ass off for pulling off the perfect practical joke from beyond the grave. I'm David Volk for Chin Music.